What's happening, troops? VB here. Hope you're all doing really well. Welcome back to the channel. So I'm just going to take a few minutes to do something I should have done at the very start of my Diablo 2 journey, is let you know what mods I'm using. And I'll just go over briefly which ones I'm using and what they're doing. So skip intro videos, pretty self-explanatory. Skip the intro videos at the beginning of the game so it starts up a lot faster. Better main menu and face. I've used this one in the past. It's got the blue flame at the bottom. It's good, but it's a little bit, not buggy, it doesn't work perfectly. It's good though. UI fixes. This fixes a few placements of items on the grid, makes them fit more nicely, more square in the square. Runeword panel. This replaces the original help screen with runeword information. This mod worked for me only once. I can't get it to work now. I've put it in lots of different, you can move them around, so I've put it in lots of different positions. I've still got it installed, but it isn't working for me. Skill icons. This changes the skill icons to add colour to them, just more vibrant. They're plain normally. This adds red, blue, green colours to them. Adds a bit of pizzazz. Diablood makes Diablo 2 more violent and bloody. Pretty self-explanatory. Smaller grid items. Some items take up massive amounts of space in your inventory. This makes everything so much smaller and lets you keep so much more stuff in your inventory. Enhanced effects and sounds. I think this is just enhanced effects and sounds. Glowing runes is another one I really like. The runes normally are just grey and black. This adds colour to them, so they glow blue, red, all kinds of colours. Really cool mod. Move Deckard cane. There's a lot of acts where Deckard is in a silly location. You need to run to him to identify stuff and then come back. It's not that it's a minor annoyance, but when you're doing it over and over and over again, it adds up. What this mod does is it moves Deckard next to the stash in Act 5. He's normally away over the other side of the map, so this is handy. Quality of life improvement. Rune And Gem Shop. This lets Akara sell runes and gems. You can select how high the rune you want Akara to sell. I've got it set as high 14. She won't sell any higher than this. So these runes you come across handily enough anyway, from 1 to 14. These are all ones that I found easily enough without mods in Diablo 2 for the PlayStation, so I've put the limit here. You can also make them cheaper, so I've made the runes not cheap. The gems, yeah. Gems I need for my colour dye mod, so it's easy to have them easily accessible. Increase stack size. This is for, it can be for multiple things, I'll show you now. Tomes. So in the base game you can only carry, I think 20 Town Portal and 20 Identify tomes. I've changed that to 100, so it's much easier. You need to buy much less. Scrolls. 10x10 Horadric Cube. So the Horadric Cube is tiny in game. I'll put it here for you to see. Yeah, there's like no room in it at all, and this mod adds so much more room to it. When you're out looting, more room to stash items, yeah, when you're on the go. Horadric upgrading. So this lets me add my own recipes into the cube. So I want to upgrade an item, I use a rune to upgrade it, and I can use a rune, this one, to convert it. To convert an item to something different. This is good, that's a good mod. It's nice if I want to, for example, I want to upgrade, let's say, a sword. Put it in the cube with an eld rune and it'll upgrade it one stat and it'll be much better. I've got a few of these mods installed actually, a few different Horadric Cube mods. Another one, expanded inventory. Just makes the inventory so much bigger. Again, in the base game, it's tiny, which is part of the Diablo game, inventory management. Again, expanded stash. Much bigger than it was before. Base is tiny. With expanded stash and smaller grid items, these work perfectly together. So better body armor and shields. This adds just more stats. Damage reduction, heavy armor's 10, medium armor's 5. Oh, I can see that actually applies to shields too, and I don't have it activated, so I'll maybe need to activate that at the start of a new game. Lower repair costs. I've actually pumped this up so it's more expensive repair costs because I had so much gold. I needed to get rid of my gold, so actually this is higher repair costs now rather than lower repair costs. Setting font fix font size. This is in the options menu, not super important. Just a nice quality of life improvement. Silent auras. So this is important for me for my Paladin because I was using so many auras on him that you shouldn't be allowed to use, and there were so many sound effects pinging and going every second. This silences that. Makes the game a lot more enjoyable with all those auras on. Town cast. In the base game, you can't cast any spells in the town, and that includes teleport and charge. So you can't ever really get about that fast in town. Can now. Mod levels. Okay. This is the one I use a lot. So increase the monster density ×4. I used to use this one a lot, the dungeon size. I used to play on double dungeon sizes, but it gets a bit tedious. So monster type diversity is max 25. So that will ensures that each allowed monster type can spawn, thus making the gameplay more diverse. Again, random monster diversity is on. I've added extra random types, generate additional types of monsters randomly. And then the last part of the mod, which I haven't actually used yet, is replace all monsters randomly. This will be interesting when I finally get to use it. Cheaty Mods. So this one I used a lot in the beginning, but not so much anymore. Experience gain percent is just base, it's 100. If I'm feeling a little bit impatient when I start a new character, I'll maybe put it up to 115, just to give myself a little boost for a few levels. To walk faster. But this is the most important one, this mod I'm using, is start with the Horadric Cube. You usually don't get this until Act 2, so to start with it, is very nice. This is another increased monster density mod. This is the original one I was using. It just increases the monsters, as we've tested this before, 100. But yeah, I'm not using this one anymore because I can affect the monster density in mod levels. So buff difficulty, self-explanatory for Hell, Nightmare. I've left it off in normal because I don't need buff difficulty in normal because we're starting out new characters. I usually play hardcore, so that's the last thing we want. Change resistance penalties. I used this with my very first modded character because I made him godly and I needed more damage because he wasn't ever going to die. This is nice to experiment with, this one. Character stats. This is used for, we'll see here, these are the points you get per level. I've left this at 5. This is for vitality, mana, energy, you know, that kind of stuff. This one is for your skills. This should only be 1, I'm sure. I've got it set to 10 so I can have any build I want. I have placed limits on myself with this. Like, for example, I picked a sorceress, but I've only really used lightning spells and 1 fire spell. I haven't used all of my points to be a true elemental sorceress, you know, fire, cold, and lightning. I want to at least put some limits on myself, but it's nice to experiment with extra points to see what skills do what. Mana regen got off. This part here is important. So I can change the starting skills of, or the starting stats of characters. I've only changed 1 stat and it's a strength. Now I put 105 to all the classes that I have intentions of playing. Let's see sorcerers here. I've added this basically so that I don't have to put points into strength only to wear nice armor. That's ridiculous. So if I start with 105 strength, it means I can wear all the pleasingly aesthetic armors right away and not have to put a ridiculous amount of points into strength to look nice. So yeah. Again, you can edit lots of stats, stamina, walk speed. Haven't touched walk speed on anyone because if you edit the walk speed, then what's the point in having faster run walk abilities, you know? So as much as this is enticing, I haven't touched it. And again, you can edit stats for all the characters here. Really nice mod. This mod only works on starting a new character. This won't take effect on a character you've already made. Alternative class skins. This is just for the Amazon, the Paladin. It doesn't work. Or I couldn't get it to work. The mod does work, I just couldn't get it to work. Modify skill stat points, again, is the points per level, but that is included in the character stats mod, so I've got this one turned off now. Adjust max skill level. Generally, skills cap out at level 20. I changed it to 99 for my Paladin, however, we're going to change this back to, I think 60 is the limit I'm going to give my characters, just so we're not too OP. But I do need the extra skill points because I have put buff difficulty on. If I didn't have this, buff difficulty wouldn't be needed. So a lot of these mods work together. Remove all player skill force cooldowns. Yes. So faster cast rate is good, but there's some spells that don't really get affected with that. Meteor is a good one, for example. So this means I can cast Meteor really fast. There's no cooldown on it, which is cool. Which often crashes the game when I do it. This is another one that I used to use, but I'm not anymore because it just breaks the game. This removes level requirements for skills, so I could just level up once, and then with my modified stat points, I could just put 100 points into one skill at the beginning, so I'm not using it. Custom skill requirements, again, not using. It just lets me edit what level I need to be for all skills, but I'm not using it. Breaks the game. There's a whole set of really good mods on the Nexus that are expanded synergies. So the synergies in-game are pretty good originally, but the expanded synergies change a lot of the effects. So in the base game, the skill Blessed Hammer, I'm sure gets a passive bonus from Blessed Aim and something else. But with the expanded synergies, it gets a bonus from other skills instead. I think it makes more sense. So I've got expanded synergies for a lot of characters. Adjust aura apply speed. So this is the aura that is around the bottom of my Paladin. Generally when you start this, or when you select an aura, it takes almost a second to apply. I have changed it so it takes less than a second. The delay is, oh, it's super fast now. So as soon as I start my aura, is instantly doing damage. This is a bit of a broken one, Unholy Bolt. So the Fist of the Heavens move that my Paladin uses should only affect demons and undead. However, with Unholy Bolt, it lets me affect all enemies. This spell is kind of broken, but hey. Again, expanded synergies, clash rebalancers, Bonesy's colour dye system. We know this one already. That's another good one. Carry multiple unique charms. So it lets me carry multiple Annihilus and Hellfire Torches so I can farm them for my other characters. Charmer Bargain. So this is Geed. Geed is one of the merchants in Act 1. Wow. He now sells a charm which reduces all vendor prices by 50%. Nice. I don't use this one a lot, but it is handy to have. Increased drop rate, you'll all be happy to know, has been turned off. It's a good mod, but it's turned off. I have kept perfect drops on though, so when you roll an item or when you drop an item, its stats aren't guaranteed. There's like a limit that the affixes, or there's a bracket that the affixes will come in. So this makes sure that the affixes are perfect, as high as they can be anytime it drops. This one is cool, Fused Uniques. On the last stream, a couple of streams ago, I was talking about how Runewords kind of ruined a lot of unique items, a lot of set items. They made them unusable. Oh, not unusable, but obsolete, power crept. Fused Uniques makes the Uniques usable again because it fuses to and gives crazy stats. This is really, really fun to use. Again, better superior items, better set items. This is all to combat the power creep introduced by runes. Again, you improved unique items, no cursed uniques. Buffed uniques I was using, however, this changes what the Annihilus charm does. Not happy with that because the Annihilus charm is an endgame item and I want it to be what it is. So I removed this mod. I've also removed the increased elite item drop rate because we want drop rates to be normal. Make rares great again to combat runes. D2R corruptions. So if you've seen when I've been playing, this is actually a mod that was lifted from Project Diablo 2, I think, or Path of Diablo, one of the older Diablo mods. This adds world stone shards to the game and allows you to corrupt items. You've seen it. I put it into my cube, we slam it and then we corrupt it, and it has the chance of adding an affix to the item or just re-rolling it. So this is interesting. It adds a bit more, you know, excitement, flavour to the game. Sonia's Item Forge. This is the one that lets me buy any skill for any character and put it on my character. However, this other mod works in tandem with this one. So instead of being able to buy these skills, which breaks the game super easy, they're now droppable skills, which makes it so much more exciting. Like maybe it will drop 10 to cast speed or 10 to walk speed, which is really nice. Extended loot filter. This lets me see what drops on the ground. So I've changed gold to just a G. Yeah, it lets you change names as well. I've also got light pillars, as you've seen. The light shines down on the item so I don't miss it. I've got it on gems, rings and amulets, tokens, but you can change it. You can have it on charms, runes, you can have it on anything you want here. So, but these are the things I want it on. And again, you can change loads of stuff in here. Again, light pillar works in tandem with this one. This light pillar doesn't have all the options that this one has, so I'm using both of them. Bosses drop sundering charms. In the stream a couple of days ago, I showed you guys lightning sundering charm, which makes enemies lightning resistance no longer effective, but it also reduces my lightning resistance by 70%. It's not only lightning charms, you get poison, magic, physical, so this adds them to the pool. Usually you can only get Sunder charms and terror zones, I think. Decrease clutter drops. This one is super handy, especially for when you get further on in the game. So remove health potions, remove mana, remove gas potions, oil, antidote, thorn. These are things that I never use. Keys, arrows, bolts, gems, because I can buy gems. I can remove gold, but it's in beta, so I haven't tried this yet. This is super handy though. It keeps the loot pools super clean. Burning Anvil. This is another really good one. This lets me add sockets. If you've seen when I've been playing, I find these wee red anvils in the game and put them in my chest. This lets me add sockets to items that generally wouldn't have sockets, like belts, rings, amulets, that kind of thing. And again, you can edit that in here. Allows socket on gloves, boots, everything. Disenchanter. Now, this lets me add cube recipes to disenchant items. So let's say I've made a sword and I put a rune word in it, and I don't want that rune word in the sword anymore. I can put it in the disenchanter, put a certain item in, and it will remove the runes, but I'll get to keep the runes. So yeah, that's really good. Socket punching, again, lets me use, you've seen this one before. We use the scroll of identify. I can take a scroll of identify, put it in the cube with an item, and it gives it one socket. I put in 2 scroll of identify, it gives it 2 sockets. This is really good because normally you can't do this. you've only got a chance to add sockets once per playthrough in the base game after you complete a certain quest, so that's a really handy one to have. Numbered rune names. This just adds numbers to the runes so you know what rarity they are. Single player rune words. Some of the rune words in Diablo 2 are locked to ladder only online. This adds all rune words to the single player game as well. Very nice. Custom rune word. So you'll have noticed in the game I have Tyrio's Blessing, which is an armor, and I can choose what runes it need to make it, and I can choose what stats I get. So I'm using this as an early game rune word, so the stats aren't too great. 25% faster cast rate, 20 mana, but I can change this to any affix I want here. So 200 all resistances, 70 plus paladin skills, you know. I could go crazy and make a really broken rune word. I haven't, but I probably will experiment with it at one point. Easier world events. This is one I haven't used, but it lets you access the cow level, secret cow level. Lets you access the Pandemonium event much easier, all that kind of stuff. Increased Uber key drop rate. I have this on because I was grinding the other day for the video. You need the Uber keys, as we've seen, to get to the Pandemonium event to get your Hell Torch. I might actually turn this back off. Increased gambling chance. So at the merchants you can gamble in game, however some items are locked out, they're not in the gambling pool. This lets me change the chances of a rare item, unique and set. I can also adjust what items we get and what difficulty, so I can only get normal items in normal difficulty. So I can't get elite items in normal if I gamble. So yeah, it also adds missing items that normally aren't in the pool. Melee area damage. In the game, when you attack an enemy melee, you're generally just attacking the enemy that's right in front of you. You're not doing any splash damage. There are some skills in game that let you do splash damage, however this adds a token, or adds a charm into the game that just lets you do area damage, which is nice. It adds a lot more power to melee characters. Merc equip. That's a really cool one. Normally, I think you can only give a merc a weapon, an armor, and a helmet. With this mod, I can give them 2 rings, an amulet, a belt, boots, everything. I can get them proper kitted out. Another good one, rejuvenation potion vendor. Lets the vendors sell rejuve potions. Super handy. I'm sure I can actually pick for what price as well. Very nice. Full potion only in hell, so I can't get full rejuve potions in normal mode or nightmare. Again, don't want to make it too easy. Rich merchant changes the price or the maximum price of an item. So if I pick up a super rare item and want to sell it, this is the maximum price I can get for it. It used to be a lot lower than this. I think the maximum price, oh, it doesn't actually say. Static price is much lower than this. I think it's like 90k. Charm of teleport. So this adds a unique, as it says here, small charm with level 1 teleport skill to the Act 1 merchant guide. However, even though this is in the game, you can't use teleport until level 24 anyway, so it doesn't completely break it. This is a cool mod I haven't used yet, haven't experimented with. Spell utilities for the sorceress lets you change attack times, damage, speed of all the spells. Super cool, but yeah, haven't tested it yet. Breakpoint recipe panels, you guys have seen this. It's next to my stats. Lets me see faster cast rate breakpoint, faster block rate, all those kind of things. Just so I'm not wasting any extra affixes when I don't need them. Custom item colors. I spoke about this one yesterday. There's only one color I've changed, and it's a unique color to light purple. The base color is gold yellow, but gold yellow is really similar in game to yellow, the rare color, so it's often easy to maybe mix them up. So I changed this to light purple, and it's super noticeable when they drop. Easier Act 1 and 2, you guys have seen. That's, you put the potions in the cube. I'll open it up actually. Oh, you can't open it, sorry. I put the potions in the cube to make the staff, Killian's Brain, Killian's Flail. Yeah, that just makes it so much easier, especially if you're wanting to speed through and get to the last difficulty. And last but not least, show item levels. So in the base game, it doesn't show you the item level. So if you pick up a sword and want to put sockets in it, you don't know how many sockets it's going to have because you can't see the item level. Whereas if I can see the item level, I know how many sockets I can put in it, blah blah blah. So this video has taken much longer than I thought it was going to do. These are the mods I'm using. They're all available on Nexus. They have made my Diablo experience fantastic. I enjoyed the base game for what it was anyway when I played it on PlayStation, but to be able to use all these mods, it just makes the game perfect for me. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. Try out some of these mods. They're great fun. They add a good bit of spice to the game. There is other mods I want to try. complete overhaul mods, but I'll need to do a separate install to try these mods because they don't work with Diablo 2 Resurrected mod manager. And these other mods are overhauls anyway, so most of these mods are included in it. So yeah, in the future I'd maybe like to try some of the overhaul mods. But yeah, that's going to do it for now. Sorry about this video taking so long, everybody. Take care, and I'll hopefully see you again soon. Bye.
Let's do it.